My people, Bitcoin and crypto has dipped a lot during this week. Actually, as predicted, a bull trap. And what's causing the dip is massive uncertainty in the markets, tariffs, war with Iran now, inflation, recession in the US and all over the Western globe. And I don't like to be the bearer of bad news, but I actually think that we are going to go lower than this. So buckle up and let's get into this. All right, so one of the main reasons that has caused this correction that we see on Bitcoin, but not only Bitcoin, but Nas, S&P 500, and so on, is actually, I would actually say it's Nas and S&P 500 because BTC right now is dipping because the stock market is dipping. And it's the same uncertainty that is affecting Bitcoin. And what is that? That is, of course, like I mentioned, tariffs, war, a lot of recession and inflation fear right now. But then also what happened is like, the GDP numbers came out, they were positive. Unemployment came out, positive. Trueflation in the same time, as we can see here, has gone up a little bit. And this is very important for Donald Trump because he, of course, wants to bring this thing down. He wants to kill it by killing the markets, and he's doing that with his tariffs. Understanding his game, his end game, makes it so much easier to predict the market ahead, all right? So if we know he's trying to kill the market, we know we are in a downtrend. I do think, though, that we are close to one of the most explosive bull runs ever, but we have to go through more pain first. And the problem with this here is that QE looks far away. And you have to understand that we need QE for the real bull market or the real bull run to start. If you want altcoin season, at least we have to know that QE is coming. And on the FOMC meeting last week, Jerome Powell was very positive on QE. So he promised tightening of QT from $25 billion to $5 billion per month. And what QT basically is, it sucks up liquidity from the market by selling bonds, offering more high yielding bonds. So the Fed is depleting their treasury reserve. And we want to see QE with actually stocking up their treasury reserve and flooding the markets with cheap money. So the money printer goes brrr. And what does that do? That money flows into risk assets like crypto, stock markets, and whatnot, and especially altcoins. Altcoins really need this to get that boost, to get that blow off top bull run that we all have been waiting for. But for that to happen, like I said, we need more pain. So market needs to come back more. The inflation needs to go down because they cannot start QE as long as the inflation is rising. And if GDP is going up, that is also actually a bad thing for QE because then there's no need for QE for boosting the economy with cheap money. Because you have to understand one thing, when they boost the economy with cheap money, what happens? The debt, the US debt goes up. And that is also something that I, of course, don't want. So looking at this chart, what we can see is first and foremost, M2, the money supply is increasing. It's on a bull run. So we have a lag effect of about 1 to 3 months on it. So 3 months would be at about 15th of April. So this is why I think that latest at about 15th to 20th of April, we will have some kind of black swan event that will trigger this bull run and make the markets fly. But before that, I think we have to come into this flip zone that I've been talking about. So I mentioned this flip zone, 55K up to 74K. And everybody's waiting for 74K. And that is the bad thing with this here because market never does what we want it to do. So I'm expecting actually market to rip straight through 74K if we go lower. But right now it looks like we do so. We have created a leg down. We're on a weekly time frame. We have created another leg down. Beautiful. If we go on the daily, what do we see? Let's remove this Fibonacci. And we can see that it's a beautiful downtrend. But we are also creating the next leg down. So let's see if it continues. If sellers keep this pressure and push the market all the way down to this flip zone. But we have to keep in mind, tomorrow, the QT reduction will be implemented by the Federal Reserve. So it means tomorrow they are decreasing the amount of money they are sucking up from the system. This is, of course, very positive. It puts us closer to QE, but we need better GDP and inflation data before QE can even be considered of. But all over the world, especially the Western world, the money printers has started and they're going hot right now. This is why we see the M2 money supply going up. And what we can see is also that the stochastic RSI is on the oversold area. and it should turn up very soon. We're starting to print green here, as you can see, which means we're turning up anytime soon. But like I said, a little bit more pain would be perfect. That would take us down to this support that we have down here at about minus 77. So like I said, 1st of April, that is tomorrow, the QT cut by Federal Reserve will go into action. And also on the 2nd of April, the reciprocal tariffs by Donald Trump will also go into effect. And that is market uncertainty. So like I said, there's a lot of uncertainty in the market, but something that can happen is that when those tariffs go into effect, suddenly we have certainty in the markets. Now we know what's happening. Now we know what's going on. And that could actually be an opposite effect because market has already sold so much on these news that it might actually be a buy the news effect. So sell the rumors, buy the news. We will see. Then 4th of April, we have NFP. So that is also when we will see how it's going with the inflation. And 4th of April, we have Federal Chairman Jerome Powell speaking. And we know by now that when he speaks, anything can happen. It's some form of press conference, which means questions can come that are unexpected. And he might give an answer that is unexpected and that could flip the markets in any way. So we don't know. Maybe that is that black swan thing that, or that trigger that I've been talking about that will ignite this gasoline and get this rocket to fly up to the moon. That is what we're all waiting for, right? So besides BTC being close to its flip zone, I see a lot of these altcoins coming close to key levels. For example, XRP is at $2 right now, battling $2. If it goes lower, it means next level for us is at about 1.6, and then we have this major key level at $1.3. Question is, will we go that low? I see a high possibility that we come into 1.64 if BTC drops further past 74K down. And I can tell you this, if you miss this train on XRP and we coming down to 1.6, you're getting it a mega discount. Doesn't matter if we're going to come lower. You start DCAing into it. So DCA, don't throw in everything at once, but split out your investment. If you have $1,000, go 100, 100, 100, or 200, 200, which means if market dips a little bit lower, you can buy more. Dips a little bit lower, you can buy more. Even if it pushes a little bit higher and starts indicating that we are pulling up now, you can buy a little bit more. So you get an average entry. That is always the best strategy, especially in these kind of market conditions. And don't try to trade with leverage if you don't know what trading is and if you don't understand how to trade. You got to be experienced. Even experienced traders are getting wrecked right now trading with leverage in these markets. It's highly unpredictable markets and you have to have a lot of experience. Looking at ADA, the next major key level is actually at 0.37. I don't think we go in that low. If we do, wow, guys, you're getting ADA for free basically. But that would be a lot of pain if we go in that low. I hold a big bag of ADA, so of course I don't want to see that. But I can tell you this, if you come in that low, I will probably fill up that bag with some more. I definitely believe in ADA this bull run, and I think we're going to sniff around the all-time high levels at about $3. And I think it's going to be this year. Talking about Solana, if you go on a daily time frame, we are getting close to a major, as you can see here, absolute bear target, and that is 78. If we hit that same thing there, mega discount, you just start DCAing in. Like already now we have it on mega discount, $126 for one Solana right now. That is cheap. Solana has been taking a lot of heat and it's going to take some more, so it's going to drop down probably a little bit more. We will see, but like I said, $78 for one Solana, that is for free. You do not want to miss an opportunity like that. And then a gem to keep your eyes on is TON. TON has been ripping it lately. TON has been extremely oversold ever since Paul, the founder of TON, got locked up in France and had a case with them, because they say that, his platform Telegram, he's the founder of Telegram also. They say that his platform endorses, criminality, terrorism and stuff like that, which we know is just garbage. They couldn't control the platform. They wanted to control, freedom of speech there, but they couldn't do it. So they started to put that kind of pressure on him instead. And that is what these elites, or what we want to call it, always do. But the important thing is he's freed of everything, and that made TON bounce up mega hard. It reached key levels. So this key level is actually the equivalent of ADA's 0.35. That makes you see how oversold TON has been. But you can see also that he's bounced back really hard. While the other tokens have dipped and been on a downtrend, TON has actually kept it really good and strong. So if you're looking for buy opportunities, Even if we get a further dip, I think TON is going to dip a little bit now, probably all the way down to 3.1. But when we start to see the bottom in, TON is definitely a good bet for a buy. Like I said, mega oversold. My people, this was a quick market overview. If you always want to be on point with the trades and analysis that we drop in, make sure you join our Telegram channel. Link is in the description box below. If you got value out of this video, then please don't forget to like and subscribe so that you get notified when we go live on the streams, which we do most often every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Sometimes we do pop-up sessions also during the week. For example, Jerome Powell speaks on Friday. We will probably live stream that as well. And with that said, have a beautiful, prosperous week, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.